Hey there, everybody. It's the Twins Daily Postgame Pint, except it's not postgame. It's 10 o'clock, and this is the world's longest, worst bowl game ever. And so we thought we would still start it at 10 o'clock just so everybody could get a decent night's sleep. We will see how late this game goes, and at some point we may have to stop even before the postgame. We'll see whether or not it goes to extra innings, whether it finishes up. I am John Bonus from Twins Daily. With me, Seth Stowes of Twins Daily and Nick Nelson of Twins Daily. And I thought, guys, that we would start this out today. Hi, Power Trip Quotes. I should just mention, we really, really rely on comments and stuff from whatever platform you're looking, whether you're watching in Periscope or whether you're watching in YouTube or whether you're watching on Facebook. All of these things have a place where you can post comments. We would like your comments. We'd like your questions. We'd like your opinions. We'd like to see all of them, and one of the things that we like to do is react to those. We can't come up with all the feedback that we between ourselves and all the questions between ourselves. So we rely on you folks to sort of help drive the conversation. Now, I thought we might start out, guys, with I'm thinking. Here's my question to you. You have to write a headline for the game, or you have to write the lead for this game. I know it's not over. Right? But tell me, what is your story of the game? What is your maybe it's a takeaway or craft a headline for me.
First tie in Major League history.
I'm going to go with Twins depleted lineup can't find a clutch hit. How about you,
That
Seth?
seems like a good headline, yeah.
Let's see. Ducks on the pond, maybe get a hit once in a while, or how about
tired and crabby? I like this, Seth.
I'm totally crabby tonight.
I like the tired and crabby, Seth.
I'm always the optimistic one. I feel like tonight I need to be the other guy. So
why was Duffy so? Well, I've got a question for you. Why was Duffy so worked up? Did he get a bad call? Bad straight call or something?
Considering the way this game's gone with Angel Hernandez so far, most likely.
Probably.
Yeah, on top of everything else we've seen, on top of the Twins are going 2 for 14 with runners in scoring position up to this point, I forgot to mention that Angel Hernandez is the umpire and called a balk on. I don't know exactly what he called a balk. I don't even know the balk rules. I just presume that wasn't the balk.
That was not a balk. I can tell you that much very confidently. That was strange. I guess my headline, actually, if we're going to go a little positive, I'll say Barrios shuts down #1 offense in the AL. I thought that was a very, very nice outing from Jose Barrios tonight. They need him to be showing that he's ready to start game 1 or 2 of the playoffs. And this is the #1 ranked offense in the AL by runs scored, home runs, OPS, and 1 run over 5 innings. I thought he pitched pretty well. I mean, they gave him some trouble. They gave him a hard time, but he came out of it pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, did they get any extra base hits off him at all? I mean, it was a lot of, the ball just lands, 1 foot inside of the foul line, a ground ball gets through, the little looper clears the shortstop's head. It felt like there was a lot of cheap hits, for lack of a better word. He kept getting into trouble based on he reminded me of a Kyle Gibson outing. Where except that Kyle Gibson gives up 2 or 3 hits like that and then gave up a blast. And you gave up a home run. Barrios never really gave up that back-breaking hit.
It was clear that Barrios was very frustrated by Angel Hernandez several times. So I was actually quite impressed that he was able to control his emotions enough so that he didn't issue a ton of walks. He had a ton of 3-ball counts, but like you said, the 1 run he gave up was on a little blooper from Nick Madrigal. That, I mean, what do? You can't position guys where that ball was hit. So
right.
I mean, ultimately, yeah, I thought Barrios was good, especially when you consider the lineup he's facing, which is the best lineup in baseball. Which is what makes tonight's game so kind of frustrating, because these are the 2 best hitting teams in baseball. You look at the Twins have hit 9 home runs in the last 2 games. And right now, I mean, Nelson Cruz has left a ton of guys on tonight. I mean, you'll take bases loaded with Nelson Cruz or Josh Donaldson or any of these guys up any time of the week. I mean, sometimes they come through, sometimes they don't. When there's 2 outs, they're going to come through probably a third of the time because maybe a fourth.
And then he flinched,
Reality of
looked like he was in pain on a missed swing there too. One that even got a comment from Morneau and Bramer.
On Cruz?
Well. Yeah, it was his
that
last
was a pitch
at-bat.
that he thought was inside.
Oh, you think so? Okay. So you think
Inside,
that's
he
what it
went, oh yeah, no, he was complaining about that pitch being called a strike.
was? Okay, all right.
Yeah, I think we can finally get past the whole concern about that tendon thing in his wrist. He's just fine.
He's been pretty good this year.
I don't know if I'll ever be completely honest. The concern about it is just
we should all lose those tendons. We're gonna give that surgery to all of the Twins hitters across the board. We're just gonna rupture all their tendons, turn them all into Nelson Cruz.
And all the Twins daily writers. It'll improve our content productivity.
That's right. Yeah.
Seriously, my carpal tunnel's been killing me the last few months. Maybe a tendon or two less would be better.
That's right.
I think another positive from the offense, and there haven't been many. Two maybe, but I'll start with A-Ray Adrianza. Finds out very late last minute that he's going to start. He's been on base 3 times in 3 plate appearances, I believe. I don't know that he's come up again. And I mean, Lamont Wade, I know that not many are high on him, but number one, he's been fantastic defensively at first base. And I would take his plate appearances or at bats up against anybody's on this roster, including Donaldson, including Cruz. I mean,
you think people are not high on Lamont Wade? I think people are incredibly high on Lamont Wade.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I mean, this is one of those things where we always talk.
I guess I haven't gotten a perception either way.
Yeah, we just talk about it depends which voices you're hearing. You know what I mean? I think it's like all the voices I'm hearing about are raving about. They want to see more and more Lamont Wade as opposed to less and less Lamont Wade.
Yeah.
I'd
love to.
Listen, I like Lamont Wade, and I really like his at-bats. But when you've got Lamont Wade batting 5th in a lineup, that means there's something went real wrong. Very, very wrong.
3 guys aren't playing today.
or 4 or 5, right?
Yeah,
So let's just go through the Musketeer roll call today. Okay, we've got Ariz on the DL. We've got Rosario out. Where's my Ariz on the DL? Rosario out. Sano out with a sore neck. Who else am I missing?
Marwin Gonzalez was.
Marwin Gonzalez got sick before the game. I mean, to some extent, that also calls up. That also is why Blankenship, it sounds like, is on the roster. It sounds like they did not intend to put Blankenship on the roster necessarily up until the point where they got Marwin Gonzalez needing to be out sick, and they thought, well, maybe we end up. I'm going to add Nick again to the audio stream. Hi there, Nick. Sorry about that. I didn't see that you were waiting on a second one.
I'm be coming and going all night due to the internet. It's just
I just feel like this is a depleted line again when you're calling up Blankenship to serve a role, and when you're starting Wade and batting 5th and batting in 5th,
Well, first of all, it's Blankenhorn.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jesus, yeah.
And honestly, right. I'm sure he was probably on the taxi squad. And with all those guys out, they have extra pitchers. They have plenty of pitchers, and they could make another move tomorrow to bring back a pitcher and send Blanken down if they want. But they need a bat, and I don't mind. Like Wade, I'd love him batting 1st or 2nd on those days when they need a 4th outfielder or an occasional start. But yeah, he's not a 5th hitter by any means. He's a line drive, singles, doubles, take a ton of pitches. But yeah, it's definitely not ideal if he's batting 5th in your lineup.
Yeah,
we're talking about the quality of at-bats from Lamont Wade. I think we got to give some credit to JK for the quality of his at-bats.
I thought you were going to go with Byron Buxton and his approach at the plate right now, which is apparently
opposite end of the spectrum.
Every pitch in case you hit it.
Yeah, opposite end of the spectrum. Yeah, Cave's had some good at bats tonight. I think it's when you strike out 12 times 12 times for every walk, which he's been doing so far this year. I think that's kind of been the weakness in his game, and especially when you compare him to Lamont Wade, who's kind of his main rival for playing time, right? And I've been really impressed by the at bats he's taken tonight as he grounds out to second.
Yeah, J.K. just crushed the White Sox this year. He hasn't done much against anybody else this year, but against.
True.
And you look at that first series, he had the grand slam. He had a big 2-run single off of Giolito in the series at Target Field. He had some big hits as well with Buxton out. So, not so much tonight. He did have the double earlier, but he's a good ball player. I think, John, you've said this many times. Lamont Wade and Jake Cave could probably be starters on some or several major league teams. Not on this team right now. And with Larnach and Kirilloff probably within a year away, also both left-handed hitting, they just might be in the wrong organization. But they're good ball players, and that's something I think that's important to note.
Yeah, I can see that both as a platoon situation next year, especially if Rooker's around, something like that. I can see them both in a platoon role. And I think Wade, you could even make an argument, as enough discipline from the right and the left side that he could end up, having a job, a full-time job. You don't feel like you necessarily have to rest him against one side or the other, I don't think. But I don't know. It feels to me like it's the bottom line is that we've got a team that is playing with one hand tied behind its back in the first game of this series, and I don't even want to necessarily be critical of it because I think if you've got guys with a sore neck, or you've got guys that are sick, or you've got guys that there's no point in pushing them at this point. We kind of know where the Twins are sitting. They've wrapped up home field advantage. We've got a story out on Twins Daily today about the Twins wrapping up home field advantage. We're not wrapping up, but being strong contenders for the home field once the playoffs start for their first 3-game series. And how much does the division crown really mean if you've already got that worked out? I'm not sure it means that much. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I would say that if they end up with the 4th seed, they're going to play the Yankees in the first round again, which, again, you might as well get over that or get past them right away, I guess. But, honestly, getting to the playoffs healthy, getting these guys some at-bats, I think is more important right now.
I don't know that much.
You want it, huh?
For sure.
Let me share my screen here. I'm going to show where the
clearly
playoffs,
health is critical, and we're seeing why we don't want the Twins going at partial strength against playoff teams right now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, John, you should click show on Chris Wright's question about Jake Cave's defense so that people can see that, because we were talking about right before we went live, Jake Cave had another Jake Cave play where he dove at a ball that he had. Unfortunately, it was Jose Abreu, so it was going to be a double, but I think he's fine for the most part. Every once in a while he has one of those plays, but for the most part, I think Jake Cave is just fine in the outfield.
All right, I'm going to before we jump into that, I'm going to just do a quick screen share. Oh, we've already got the screen share up there. Good. All right. So right now, if we have the story on Twins Daily today, you're interested in kind of seeing what the playoff situation looks like. Essentially it works like this. We kind of know who the top 4 teams are going to be, and we kind of know who the bottom 4 teams are going to be. And there aren't a lot of differences right now. And so a lot of chances that things shift too much on that. Like, it could happen. Nothing's locked in just yet. But with the Rays and the A's both at the top of their divisions and comfortably at the top of their divisions, they're going to end up with one of these top 3 spots. White Sox and the Twins, this series will go a long way to determining whether or not one of them wins the division. But whichever one team doesn't win the division is probably ending up in the 4th spot, because everybody else is a good 4 or 5 games, 3.5 to 4 games behind them, right? And then finally, at the bottom 4, it looks like those 4 teams are going to be the Cleveland Yankees, Blue Jays, and Astros, with the Yankees possibly ending up in the 5 spot or in the 8th spot, and Blue Jays being the other team that ends up in that situation. Has anybody seen what's going on with the Astros and the Mariners tonight? Is that game even started? Is that game going one way or the other? One of the interesting things I just noticed today is that Astros are only a game and a half in front of Seattle, and I think they've got 6 or 7 games left versus Seattle. So it's not inconceivable. I mean, listen, Seattle would have to go 5-2 probably versus the Astros, something like that, to really give them a run for their money, or at least 4-3 to kind of give them a run for their money. But I guess it's not inconceivable that the Astros could still get knocked out of the playoffs.
Oakland beat Seattle 9-0 tonight.
Oakland Oakland played Seattle tonight. Oh, I thought Seattle was playing Houston tonight. Okay, well maybe that's starting tomorrow then.
I might start tomorrow, possibly. Yeah.
Hey, John, Nate notes too that for what it's worth, Jake Cave has a +3 DRS this season.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think Jake has done decently in the outfield. I mean, despite tonight's results notwithstanding, my opinion of him has always been that he's actually pretty good in left field. Like that sort of seems to me to be his strongest position. So, that he seems to struggle with right field the most almost. He's just not that athletic for center field, but left field seems to jive with him. So, but he does like to dive and try to make spectacular plays, and ends up, sometimes he makes it. He's made it a couple times this year. Today he did not. So that was disappointing.
Hey, John, I don't know.
John, I saw someone ask an important question in the. I saw someone asked, "What are you drinking, John?" That seems like a key question we haven't covered.
I've got a Lafroig Scotch here in my Target Field Scotch.
Oh, okay.
Lafroig 10.
Nice.
Lafroig 10
I'm having
with a big old ice cube. I was going to have something like
L-bombs from Falling Knife.
Oh, there you go. Oh, Falling Knife has got some very good stuff.
Double dry hopped. Yeah, very nice.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see what else we've got here. Donaldson needs a hit here. Donaldson needs the whole. You raised a good point, Nick, on Twitter today that it was the sort of the guts of the Twins lineup that has kind of let them down. It's a lot of the big bats that have let them down in this game. As much as I'm complaining about how weak it is that you've got Wade batting fifth, and you've got Estudillo, and you've got Adrianza, you got all these guys in the lineup. Those are actually the guys that have been a little more productive today.
John, hide the comment you have showing and show the one from Clinton Warren. It says,
"Yeah, man."
My worry is that these felt like playoff hitting situations. Not seeing someone deliver is worrisome. Is that just a one-off game that I'm making too much of? My comment to that would absolutely be it's hopefully just a one game, because as I said earlier, we want those guys up in that situation, and I don't feel like Donaldson or Cruz is gonna, wet themselves if that situation comes up in a big situation in the playoffs. So, I mean, ultimately, when you have guys come up with the bases loaded and 2 outs, they got to get a hit, and guys get hits about 25% of the time. So, even if they're clutch, they may get a hit 28% of the time instead of 25. So, I mean, those are the guys you want up. And as John mentioned, if Lamont Wade's getting on, Ari Adrianza's getting on, Williams Astudillo is terrible. But those guys, you want them up in those situations. You'll take that all day long.
Yeah, I mean, I get that you want to see clutch hits all the time. We all want to see clutch hits all the time, and we've seen this team deliver clutch hits on a pretty regular basis. That was one of the reasons why the offense was looking like it was not anemic the first 2-3 weeks, right? Because they were bunching together lots of hits early in the game. This thing that we're kind of seeing right now, and I'm hoping that we, don't see it much longer. I'm going to drink my good luck Scotch here as I watch Josh Donaldson taking at bat here. It feels like last year this happened a lot, where they, and even this year, where they don't score a lot this year, and then they get into they don't get the big hit early on in the game, and then it gets to like inning 6 and 7 and 8 and 9, and they don't even really get a sniff of getting a scoring opportunity. So, I
mean, I honestly just continue to say, get the guys on. If you end lots of guys left on base, that hopefully means that you got even more guys on base. So, they've got 1 run through 7+ innings today, but again, I'll get the guys on base and hope. And if we end up frustrated in the game that they left 10 guys on, but they scored 4 and they won 4-3, great.
I will say that, I wouldn't make too much out of a lot of the struggles tonight with runners in scoring position. It's just kind of situational or whatever. But Buxton needs to get more selective. He's 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position. He's left 5 men on base tonight. And I mentioned earlier, I mean, he's taken one walk in 100 plate appearances this year.
Yeah.
He's swinging out of the zone at half the pitches that are outside of the zone. He's swinging at like the highest rate of anyone in the majors. And obviously, you know, when he gets a hold of one, he can crush it. And sometimes he can hit a ground ball and beat it out. But it's borderline impossible to be a productive offensive player if you're getting out 76% of the time. And he has a 240 on base percentage. I mean, that's atrocious.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a little of that tonight where he got the hanging breaking ball and just missed it. Right now, if he hits that, everybody's happy as hell, right? Right, because he drove it deep to left field, but not out. It was still a pop up. He knew as soon as he hit it that was not quite what he wanted to do, right? But yeah, it feels like a lot of feast or famine with him, and I'm not opposed to him swinging as hard as he can every time he does to try and really crank it, to really get a hold of him when that happens. But he still hasn't gotten to the point where he recognizes and puts a ball in the strike seemingly on a regular. Now he's not being
pitchers are going to take advantage of that, especially with runners in scoring position. I mean,
yeah. Well, we've got a little drama developing in this baseball game now. I'm pretty excited to see how this comes up now.
Nelson Cruz with the bases loaded.
Those people who were not here at the beginning of this piece, we've now got about 80. I see 80 plus people here watching. We've got we started out. Oh, geez. Nelson Cruz is continuing a very bad night.
Oh, gosh. Thanks.
I must be like 2 minutes behind you guys.
Get ready for some excitement.
Yeah, I feel bad for you for the next 2 minutes. I do. It's going to be sad.
Right. Nelson Cruz has stranded 9 men on base tonight. Oof.
I thought it was 11. I thought it was 8 after his last at bat.
Yeah, we did get one question. We did get one question here that I don't have any idea what the answer is.
By the way, Nelson Cruz will hit 6 home runs over the next 3 games. I guarantee it.
Yeah, probably right.
I'm not betting anything on it, like a house or anything, but it's going to happen. Probably all solo home runs, but oh well. He's got ways to go. Nick's prediction on how many home runs he would hit this year.
Anybody here a player index guru? Maybe somebody watching out there is a player index guru and can find out what's the most that a Twins player has ever left on base in a particular game. It feels like that might be something that would be on the game logs of Baseball Reference at some point.
I think I saw the record is 16.
Here's another good one.
I saw someone tweet that earlier.
I like this comment.
How about the next one?
Yeah, I saw it. Here we go. Yeah. Poor Nelson. Poor Mr. Cruz. How fast we turn on him. I knew as soon as he turned 40 years in like 27 days, he was going to be washed up. Let's see how Nelson Cruz is doing. I don't know. Let me ask you this: Did the Barrios outing? You said earlier today that you thought the Barrios outing was one bright spot to take out of this. Did we really feel like he's in the form that we need him to be for the postseason, though? It wasn't a dominant outing by any stretch of the imagination, right?
I mean, he wasn't dominant, that's for sure. But I mean, he got through the start. It didn't seem like Angel Hernandez was not good. And it didn't seem like he necessarily had his best stuff. He was spinning some pretty good curveballs, but
I didn't see a lot of.
I thought it was an
swings and
impressive
misses.
outing, and I'll definitely take it. I mean, we got to keep in mind how good this White Sox offense is. It is really good.
Yeah,
Not a lot.
I agree, and I struggle with the whole everything this season. Like looking at total season numbers, it's just what does 60 games mean? So to me, the wins and losses matter for the team more than say the stats do. But I'll take this from Barrios. He definitely wasn't at his best, but he's in a form right now where, what if he would have had a different ump tonight, or what if he would have pitched exactly like this against a Yankees or a Blue Jays team? Maybe he, throws a shutout, but 1 run over 5 innings, limiting some damage. He left a lot of guys on base as well.
Yeah, you're right.
Is this a bad night of hitting? Is it a good night of pitching? Is it a bad night of pitching? Yeah, I don't know what this game is right now.
It feels like there's been a lot of bad luck too. I mean, like that. I think of that Max Kepler ball down the right field line that just went foul. I don't know. It feels like there's been a fair amount of bad luck. We got this was the Chris Wright's asking about swinging at a first pitch after a walk. It bothers me a little bit too, but that's what Nelson does. I mean, Nelson looks for that first pitch to be aggressive, and in fact, if you talk to the Twins last year, that was one of the changes that they made as sort of a team following his lead on that ended up getting them to start ambush some pitchers, and certainly they've had a lot of luck ambushing pitchers on a regular basis. So I can't be critical about that.
Yeah, and I mean, if a guy walks a guy to load the bases, the last thing he wants to do is fall behind. So I don't have any problem with him swinging at the first pitch. Someone in the comments asked, why did he swing at that? Well, his intent was to hit it a long ways and drive in a few.
Right.
It is hard to hit. So, I mean.
That's the why.
Are we surprised to see Taylor Rogers here in the 8th inning? Is it because we've got a bunch of left-handed up?
I was just going to ask, what do you guys make of that? There's going to be a save situation later on the road here if they take the lead?
I'm taking a look right now at who's batting for the White Sox.
Well, Moncada, who I think they want that right-handed, and then Grandel come. I don't even know who's coming up next, but
Luis
Robert's up next, a right-hander, a tough one. Yeah,
right.
Jeez.
And Mazzara. He's a lefty.
Yeah.
So I can say that.
2 out of 3 you flip around.
Yeah, I mean they've got him spread out.
Walk.
Well. Oh, geez, and he walks the guy, and now we're facing Roberts with leadoff walk. That's not good.
No.
Taking a look at the bullpen situation tonight. As always, Twins
control definitely hasn't been Rogers' issue this year. 1 walk all year coming into this game, so that's only his 2nd walk of the season.
We'll share the bullpen situation on the big screen here. Oh. All right, pull it up. Yeah, so you can see the Whistler we've already seen. Rogers we're seeing right now. We haven't seen Clippard yet. We have seen Duffy. Boy, we haven't seen Alcala in a long time.
Not since he got hit. I think he's okay, though.
So hold it. I mean, and Smelter's gone, right?
Yep. Maybe Blink uses a pitcher tonight.
Yeah, right. I mean, who closes this if they end up scoring? If they hold them here and they score in the top of the 9th, are they thinking Rogers is going to go 2 innings after pitching back-to-back days 2 days ago?
I'm thinking they'll figure that out if they get the lead in the 9th.
Maybe.
I mean, we've seen Whistler, we've seen Romo, we've seen a lot of different guys get opportunities for saves. So that's one thing I really like about Baldelli and Wes Johnson.
Why not Clippard?
Their, willingness to throw guys into situations, and there's some reason they put Rogers here. I don't know, but they'll figure it out for someone, and then they'll tell that person that they had them in mind for that spot the whole time and get their confidence up and call it good, hopefully.
I mean, at some point they just turn this thing over to Alcala and say, you go as long as you can, right? That's going to – I mean, if they end up getting to the point where they get to the 10th inning or something like that, I've got to imagine it's Clippard in the 9th and Alcala in the 10th. I can't – I would think that you would go with the veteran in the 9th inning here.
Maybe. I would assume so. But again, it's even with the lineup and guys getting the day off for soreness and things like that, it just continues to press the point that Baldelli's going to take care of his players, even if it may be unpopular and you want to always see the top guys out there and you want Rogers in that save situation. Duffy's pitched tonight. I mean, if they throw Alcala in the 9th inning, you're probably good with that. I mean, they're definitely not going to put anyone in a bad situation. that.
Well, yeah, that seems like the kind of situation where you might bring in Alcala, right? Like, it's not unusual that in the 10th inning of a game like this, you find, the long relief guy, for lack of a better term, which is Alcala's been in that role a little bit, or the young guy at the end of the thing and say, this isn't ideal, but this is what you are. This is where we are. You are what we have left. Let's go for it. I mean, I suppose we could also see Thielbar come in back-to-back games, back-to-back days. I suppose. Absolutely. Well, I doubt we're going to see May. May was just out yesterday, left the game yesterday with a back issue, right? I mean, are we really down to in the bullpen to Alcala, Clippard, and maybe Thielbar if they're going to go back-to-back? Because I can't imagine. I mean, again, I suppose you could go Romo. He's got a little bit of a rubber arm, but he did throw 25 pitches yesterday.
I have to think they're planning on Clippard, yeah. But yeah, if this goes to extra innings, it's gonna be interesting.
First, they got to get there.
Yeah. John, I saw Matthew Trueblood commented. Do you think that we cursed the team when we started the 10 o'clock starts? This is unbelievable. It's a 1-1 game, and it's been going on for 3 hours and 40 minutes. What is going on?
Yeah, we might need to rethink this. I kind of like watching the game with you guys a little bit. Though.
I do miss it. I mean, that is part of the charm, right? We can't actually watch the game at the stadium anymore.
I was going to say, this is kind of fun. Except you guys are like a minute ahead of me.
Especially considering it was 2.5 hours of misery prior to this. Like, it was 2 hours to me wanting to tear what little hair I have left in my head out watching this. So
you'd think this was a Yankees-Red Sox game. Says go Twinkies go. Yeah, right? It's got that feel.
Wow. How worried should we be about Taylor Rogers?
2 straight walks to start the inning. That was a tough call, though.
It was a tough call, but it was a 3-2 count. It's not like, he had to call it one way or the other, and that's.
Yeah, I mean, it was out of the zone, honestly. I mean, it was ball.
Yeah, and Estudio didn't do him any favors with the way he caught it.
No, yeah, Estudio is definitely making us all appreciate Jeffers. There's no question about that.
Rocco is coming out.
Wow. Do they have anyone warming up?
I don't even know.
I can't imagine.
Rocco might just get himself ejected here on purpose.
He's been displeased.
And just based on how Rogers responded after that ball was called this ball, which was clearly up and above the zone, and he's asking if it was outside, he's clearly frustrated too. So I wouldn't be surprised if Rocco says a little something to Angel.
We haven't seen Rocco get thrown out of a game yet, have we?
Not this year.
Yeah, it happened maybe once last year.
I think it happened once last year.
It was the most calm ejection I've ever seen. Like, I disagree with you.
It was very courteous.
I really disagree with you. Okay, fine. Will you just throw me out so the guys think that I got it?
Got ejected in the Yankees game, Lucas says, which, yeah, that makes sense.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to watch Astudillo catch as much as anything in this game.
And I mean, he makes up for it sometimes with his bat, but he's not making up for it with his bat right now. He certainly hasn't this game. He's been one of the guys that struggled.
Yeah. So, does anyone have a sense when Garver's coming back? I think Lavelle tweeted this week that he expected him to get activated this week, but I heard he did not go on the road trip to Chicago, so it can't be that imminent. I don't know, Seth, have you heard anything?
No, and I know it gets asked, and like you said, he's not in Chicago yet. I mean, he could come, I guess, for.
I thought it looked like a double play ball, and they didn't have anybody in the shortstop position. It wasn't because the shift was on; it's just because he was so far over into the hole.
Yeah, that's tough. Sox up 2-1.
That ball isn't out 95% of the time. 85% of the time. It's all. It's not. It was not a fast. Oh, Polanco just
Yeah, they left shortstop wide open. That's an interesting decision.
And he ended up going into the hole there. Donaldson was playing the bunt.
Because he drew him off with the bunt, huh?
The bunt
nice.
They bunted. I mean, that's just good baseball by the way.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
I just saw it about 8 after you guys were watching it for the third time. I mean, Donaldson has to charge, and Polanco's got to cover third. So that's what do you do?
Taylor Rogers, though, man, again, he's not getting crushed tonight, but 2 walks and gives up the lead here. It's been a struggle for him this year.
It has, and I would agree that he hasn't been hit hard, but he's also just not missing bats the way he did last year. His slider is still fine, but it's not as sharp as it was last year. His fastball velocity is still good, but he's not hitting spots the way he did last year. I mean, it's just nothing is coming as easily. I mean, and the question comes in, am I worried? I mean, I'm really not worried. I don't see any reason to be worried if you look at that stuff, but I don't know. it's worth.
It sure seems like he's seen a lot of that stuff today. A lot of stuff like that this year. It doesn't feel like he's getting hit hard. It's just stuff is getting through, and that's with what I thought was a better infield defense this year. This infield defense that wasn't just my expectation going into the season. That was my experience early in the season. Is that this infield defense was better, and I still kind of feel like it is. But,
it is. I think they just released the infield outs above average StatCast measures today, and the Twins are. I can't remember what it was, but they went from being one of by far the worst teams in the league to actually above average. So that bears it out.
Yeah, and
the only go ahead, Seth.
Stats don't. I mean, and I agree. I think they are much better, and I think that's tells that. But
now you can be worried about Taylor Rogers.
But you still have to hit it at someone. I mean, the guys can cover only so much ground no matter what, and it's no fair that you guys are way ahead of me.
Again, we're just trying to help you out with the pain.
You get to hear our groans and mumbles before you actually see it on screen. Isn't it lovely?
Fantastic.
Yeah, I think Rocco's going to go out there and get him now. Wow, tough night for Rogers. That was just a fat pitch.
On 0-2?
That thing hung. Was that an 0-2 pitch? Ugh, yikes.
But that's what I mean. Like, that slider a year ago would have hit, or he would have swung and missed because it would almost hit his back foot. There, it just hangs right over the middle of the plate.
Go Twinkies, go. Where's the optimism? This is the Twinkies we're talking about. 2 runs is nothing. It's the Bomba squad. Why are we not more optimistic? I don't know. After watching what we've watched tonight, why are we not feeling a lot more positive?
I mean, think about the night.
Disappointed. I couldn't be disappointed with this game. This game sucked.
Polanco coming up, Lamont Wade after that. I mean, that's what you want up right now, right?
1 run scored, 14 left on base for the Twins.
Yeah, I mean, it started out with the lineup, right? Just pull that up here real quick. I mean, when the lineup is, it starts out good enough. Kepler, Donaldson, Nelson Cruz, Jorge Polanco batting fourth was a little puzzling. And then by the time you get to Lamont Wade fifth, that's when you know that things are a little bit dicey, right? And we said at the beginning of the show, you're missing Sano, you're missing Marwin Gonzalez, you're missing Arias, you're missing Rosario. You're playing with 4 of your regulars, or at least 3 of your regulars, out of the game. And that's also Mitch Garver out, Ryan Jeffers out. Like, again, you can only have so much depth. And, it's not that Jake Cave has been pretty good recently or that Lamont Wade isn't a real ball player. They are. They're good ball players. Ray Johns has had a nice game. But, you went into what was a critical 4-game series with basically half of your hitters, either hurt or benched.
Yeah, one thing I will give the Twins credit for, I noticed Sano and Arise are ranked number 1 and 2 on the team in pitches seen per plate appearance, and Marwin Gonzalez is 4th. So, and they still saw 99 pitches and forced Dylan Cease out of the game before the end of the 5th inning. So you got to give him credit for that. But just no ability to convert or come through in the big spot whatsoever.
Yeah, I was actually impressed early with how quickly they were able to get Cease out of the game and get that pitch count up, because hopefully over the rest of the series, that will mean that the White Sox bullpen will be more depleted. But then when our pitcher only goes 5 innings and our bullpen gets depleted at the same time, it kind of eliminates that. Now, I've been frustrated a few other times, and, who knows? Those guys get back in the lineup tomorrow and they win 3 out of 4, but it's just not the way you want to start. And that Giolito is coming on, I think, Wednesday, and it sounds like Dallas Keuchel will be pitching on Thursday, and it certainly doesn't get easier. But, I do think the Twins built a team with depth, and I think that depth has been positive most of the time. But when you've got 4 or 5 depth guys playing consistently and frequently and in a same game rather than just 1 or 2 sprinkled in, there's only so much you can expect.
Yeah, it was a tough game. Tough game from the beginning. It was a tough game before the game started. It got tougher and tougher. But the Taylor Rogers thing is a little troubling to me. That I can write off a lot of it, right? But the results just have not been there. I don't feel confident with him coming into the games late. And the bigger issue to me is, I don't know who replaces him.
Yeah,
we've been talking about how this bullpen has so much depth, and it does. It's got a lot of fairly high performers on it. We haven't seen anybody else in that role other than maybe Sergio Romo, and Sergio Romo has been really effective. Don't get me wrong, but he's not somebody that you say, well, we've got this thing locked down in the 9th. He's throwing the same pitch up there, half a dozen, every other pitch, and you're like, every time you get Sergio Romo gets on an inning, you're kind of like, not totally sure how he did that, but glad to see it happening.
I think Romo has been his basically Rogers. He's been taking more and more save opportunities, and they've kind of been alternating almost between situations. But I saw we see John in the chat here. It says if Alcala is healthy here, would have liked to have seen him earlier. To your point, if Rogers is getting taken down a spot in the bullpen hierarchy. And, who knows what to think about Trevor May. He said it was just a back cramp. I hope that's true. But, back issues wiped out his season a couple years ago. So I don't think you can take it for granted. They got some high leverage spots potentially up for grabs here with the playoffs approaching. And Alcala is certainly a guy who could factor into that picture.
Yeah, Trevor May is not a comforting name to me right now. Trevor May has not been particularly effective as a reliever anyway.
He's their best strikeout pitcher. I'll say that much. He's susceptible to the home run here and there.
Yeah, he's also their best home run.
Go for ball pitcher.
Well, I was going to say batting practice pitcher in some ways. I don't, and that's a little harsh. I know it's a little harsh, but he's got 7 home runs in 42 innings right now. No, I'm sorry. He's got 5 home runs in 18 innings.
Yeah, that's
right now.
That's not good. That's not good.
No, you can't be in that role and give up 5 home runs.
That's not a sustainable home run rate. And in every other category, pretty much, walks, hits, strikeouts, he's been good. So I'm not super down on Trevor May if he's healthy. And I think if he's not available for the playoffs at top form, that's going to be a big problem.
Well, his stuff is better than ever. Fastball. Yeah. Better. The changeup has always been a good pitch for him. The curveball is fantastic. It's just every, what is that, 3 1/3 innings, he gives up one that doesn't curve or sits right over the plate. But I agree with Nick that if you need a strikeout, I'll go to him. I get that there's a chance he's going to implode, but say 3 out of 5 times, he's going to get 4 out of 5 times, he's going to get the job done. Hopefully.
I'm with you on the strikeouts. If I'm looking for a specific strikeout pitcher, my question is who am I handing the 9th to in Game 3 of the first round versus the Blue Jays or the Yankees or the.
I think it's Romo right now.
Yeah, I'd trust Whistler more, and I feel more comfortable with Whistler, but Romo just keeps getting the job done. And he's got the mentality that even if he doesn't, he's going to be just fine and get him the next day. So mentality-wise, he's got to be the guy.
He might get their best hitter ejected from the game. Who knows? You got that as well as a wild card.
Right.
We've got 11 games left this season. I would guess you get, maybe 3-4 save chances in those 11 games. How many of those are not going to be Taylor Rogers?
1 or 2.
Do you if you're Baldelli, do you specifically try to give some of those changes to somebody other than Taylor Rogers at this point, just to get some comfort, but A, get some comfort level in your own heart with turning that over to somebody else, and B, getting them a little bit of some experience in that role? Because that's what really worries me, is that, other than Romo, who else has really done that? I mean, and I guess Clippard back in the day, right? Who else has really done that job? Nobody. Nobody's really done. I mean, Trevor May a little bit, right? We saw that maybe that when Perkins was out in 2015 or something like that.
Why not Alcala, says Chad. I think I don't know if the experience or the control there. Woo! Great pitch to end the inning there. He is nasty. I saw someone asked who is here. John asked who is our next Bruised-Ar in the minors. Alcala's basically Bruised-Ar.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, right.
He's throws 100 miles an hour. He's got a slider that's almost 90, and he's dominant. You got to give the front office a lot of credit for putting his replacement in proactively and then trading him for an ace. Pretty nicely handled.
I'd add that Joan Duran has this kind of stuff plus better third pitch. And I would also add that Eduard Colina is on the taxi squad for this trip. He's 100 miles per hour with a slider too. So based on how the bullpen went tonight, I wouldn't be surprised if there is a move tomorrow.
So that's a good thing to bring up, Seth. Maybe we should probably start. We've been on for 45 minutes, so I guess maybe we should start winding down as the game, unfortunately, is winding down. But
I think I'm going to give it 3 more outs for my.
All right, I like it. Hey, I'm in. Tomorrow, September 15th, right, is the deadline to add players who are postseason eligible. So if they want someone else to potentially be in their bullpen picture, outside of like an injury or something, it needs to happen tomorrow, basically. Do you expect to see anyone called up? We saw Blankenhorn come up today, kind of out of necessity.
Is that the equivalent of the old September 1st, though?
I think so, yeah. It's the prorated whatever.
Being in the organization by September 1st. So if that's the rule, then I don't think they have to worry about that, because that one's been worked around so many times. But, I mean,
you usually work around it with like an injury, right? Like somebody.
Yeah, if there's an injury.
Yeah,
I think they have to be
guys on the injured list that
true.
It's the old Francisco Rodriguez K-Rod thing from like 20 years ago, that he had never pitched in the big leagues until like September 10th of that year, and he became the most dominant closer in Major League history, not named Mariano Rivera, for that 1 year. And they had some bullpen and injury or something like that.
We got one question. Somebody suggested Duffy. What do we think about Duffy?
I think he needs to be I would never use him as the closer. He needs to be the bullpen ace. He needs to be the guy that they pull in the 7th or 8th inning in a tight game to face the heart of the lineup, I think. I'm not really a believer in general that your best reliever should be your closer.
Right. Absolutely.
If you got faith in Trevor May striking people out, why isn't Trevor May in that role and Duffy your closer?
Well, if he gets healthy, I wouldn't mind having May as closer, honestly.
You've got more faith in him than I do.
I have no problem with that either. As long as his back's okay, he can throw strikes.
That's another good point.
That's going to be the question, obviously. No balls to the backstop.
Yeah, and that's kind of when they took him out, too.
So they hinted on the broadcast that Baldelli hinted that both Sano and Rosario might be available to do some pinch hitting at some point in this game.
I wouldn't be surprised
if put to the test
on base. Make them the tying run or something like that.
Well, you need to get 2 here.
Jay Svensson comments, I don't ever remember the Twins having so much pitching heat in their system. Well, that's because they never have. Not by a long shot. It's been quite they're striking out more hitters than they ever have before. They're missing more bats than they ever had before, and the velocity is higher on average, I'm sure, than it's ever been in franchise history. It's been some remarkable work, I think, by this front office and Wes Johnson and everyone involved.
And I talked to a guy a couple of years ago who happened to be around a former player. He said there would be a couple of guys that would hit 92, and if you had a guy that was throwing 94, it was crazy in the minor leagues. And he said, now you watch these bullpens; they're all throwing 94 plus.
Oh yeah, that's the state of the game.
Guys,
yeah.
So
We were playing Detroit, and we were like winning by 5 runs, and they brought in some random rookie to pitch in a mop-up role, and he was throwing like 100 miles an hour. I mean, that's kind of where the game of baseball is at right now, right?
Yeah, you look at the Royals have Josh Staumont, who comes in and throws 100. He was their like number 27 ranked prospect.
He's going to be good.
Karinchak and I know he's suspended, but Emmanuel Clase, who both throw really hard, and Karinchak's got that curveball. This division is going to be tough for several years to come.
Yeah. I don't like the White Sox being good this early.
Yeah, they're going to be very pesky for the next many years. Luis Robert is just unbelievable.
I'm a little encouraged that Wade is going to bat this inning. I feel like he's got a decent chance of working his way on base somehow.
Okay, I like the optimism.
And then the question.
I mean, that's what they need.
What
to get a guy on base.
Right.
Bloop and a blast.
It happens.
Then you've got Buxton and Cave versus a right-hander. That's something, and that's even if you don't make a move to the bench, which I presume would be the call would have to be Sano, right?
Or Rosario if he's healthy.
I think Rosario might be more likely in terms of health situation, but it's hard to say.
Well, and I think you do kind of have to think about the second move along with that. And I think if Rosario can hit and he can play defense, at least then you can manipulate it should something good happen.
That's right. Certainly
with
Buxton and Cave in there, right. Yeah.
I just don't blink up there and say, hey, make your major league debut against this closer in a pennant race.
In the bottom of the night. Go ahead, kid. Hey, we should talk about Blankenhorn a little bit. After he got called up today. I don't know. Seth, you know probably more about Blankenhorn than his own mom. Give the readers a 2 minute or 1 minute on Blankenhorn and what he can do and what you expect.
I mean, he's one of the best athletes in the Twins system. I mean, aside from Buxton probably and Royce Lewis, I mean, he's big, he's strong, he's fast, he can hit home runs, he's going to strike out a bunch. He can play second base. That's where he's mostly played. He looked pretty good at third base during summer camp, which is surprising because he barely played there last year. And I think he played a handful of games in left field last year. But, again, he's got a ton of power. He's a typical hitter of this age. You're going to strike out, may walk a little bit and have some power and a little defense at a variety of places. So
I seem to remember him, in past years being somewhere in sort of like the 10 to 15 range on prospect lists or under. I think it went back when he was in A ball and double A ball. And I get these guys mixed up all the time. You know me, I'm terrible with remembering who's who on things. But what I remember him as being sort of like a good enough bat, we're just not really sure where he's going to play. And what that has ended up being is he's sort of the utility guy now. He can play a little bit everywhere. He can play enough everywhere to be sort of a utility guy, as opposed to he's a guy without a position. Is that accurate?
I think ultimately, if he can be a replacement for Marwin Gonzalez and play both corners, play second base, and maybe play left and right in the outfield adequately, I think you'd be happy. I don't know what more to add to that. He's a prospect who I've had.
He's not a switch hitter like Marwin Gonzalez is, right? He's
a lefty.
Strictly lefty, right? And the Twins already have plenty of lefties.
You mentioned the versatility, and I do think he can play a number of positions. He's been a guy that
shortstop
is probably 8 and as low as probably 25. So
he was 18. He was 18 this year,
though, right?
No.
Right. So.
All right. Well, the Twins are down to their last out with Buxton at the plate here. 2 outs, nobody on.
He's not afraid to still swing for the fences. He's not exactly trying to work his way on
some
base.
pitches to hit today, but he's just missing them.
He doesn't seem to alter his approach much.
Maybe I'm crabby because my 4 fantasy football teams I think are going to finish 0-4 this week.
Tell me about it, man. I was relying on James Conner for a comeback victory.
Oh, tonight. Nicely done.
Buxton puts one over the left fielder's head.
Oh, come on. Keep running. Keep
going. Oh, I hope they let that stand. John, would you like to explain what you just saw?
No, I'm going to let you experience it, Seth.
All right, I gotta wait another 10 seconds.
Yeah, Seth, you have to describe it play by play live.
We got the beauty of watching on several different TV systems. Plus, I don't want to be disseminating the.
That was Eddie Rosario defense there, sitting there and crying for a ground rule double while the ball sits in front of you.
Yeah, I don't have any idea what he was thinking. Like, why you can't pick up that ball?
I mean, I think it is technically supposed to be a ground rule double if it gets wedged in the wall.
But there's nothing wedged; it just stopped.
Yeah, I don't know. Can they challenge that? That's interesting.
Buxton wasn't even going hard the whole round. He was ready to stop him coming to second base. And he's just like, well, why not, man?
What?
That was amazing. Seth is just catching up to it right now.
Literally right not there. Pleased with what just occurred. I mean, pick the ball up. Yeah, what is this?
This isn't like Wrigley where
he's trying to make the sign like, oh look, it was underneath. It was. They're all like, there's nothing underneath about that.
Jay Suter says hit his glove can't be a ground rule double. Is that true? Is that a rule?
No, that can be a double.
I've never heard that before, but
that's interesting.
No. I mean, maybe if it's under the wall, he didn't even have to reach under the wall.
Oh, they send him back to second.
They send him back to second base.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not too surprising, I guess.
I mean, it doesn't really matter, but
well, yeah, true. We just need a home run here either way. Who's up, Jake Cave?
It's not like it's setting him up for the double play or anything like that.
Right.
You get 2 outs.
Yeah, it is true. The Buxton run doesn't matter unless the next one scores.
I don't understand how he can possibly claim that thing is wedged in any place. That's crazy.
It stopped in place. I don't know. I see it.
Just stops. Balls, things stop.
Oh, the crowd is not liking it. We got BS. What? It sounds like our guy Nate Palmer is writing the recap for this game. Sorry, Nate. Jeez, getting dragged into a midnight writing job here.
Well, you've got a nice. Listen, that's an easy 75 words right there, Palmer. You just got that as a gift. Plus, you can pull out some acerbic wit with it. Oh, that's just a writer's. That's a writer. It's like a little gift to you, as a baseball writer. Here, you can mock the umpires. You can mock their left fielder.
It's been a game.
It's been a game. Yeah, this has been really a tremendously, it reminds me a little bit of the last time the Twins played the White Sox, the first game versus Giolito, where you just kind of felt the whole time like they just can't seem to. The whole game was slipping away the whole time. You know what I mean? And then finally in the ninth inning, Kepler drops the ball, which wasn't. It's not totally clear that they would have wouldn't have won that game even if he didn't, because Rogers was giving up all kinds of hits anyway. But that's another point. That was also Rogers' meltdown in the ninth. That was also a Rogers meltdown.
So Willians Astudillo is on deck. What happens if Jake Cave draws a walk here or gets on base?
Oh, they gotta make a move.
Who comes in? I mean, I guess that will be the test of if Sano or Rosario is available, right?
What about Jeffers?
I would probably make that move, yeah. Although it's not a huge upgrade.
Yeah.
I mean, Astudillo can put the bat on the ball, which is nice.
Yeah.
Jeffers has great discipline.
It's not like you're trying to score a guy from third with 1 out here. You're trying to get a hit.
Oof. Cave chases on 2-1.
Easy.
On a pitch in the dirt.
Yeah, that did not look too good. That was not Jake Cave's best swing there.
Down to their last strike. Go Twinkies go, asked did Seth die? I assume he's still alive and well. As someone who has dropped out and rejoined the broadcast because of internet issues about 15 times, I can tell you.
I'll add him back to the stream if I see him.
Yeah,
He might be done with this thing.
Maybe he just said, screw it. It's 11 o'clock.
I don't blame him, just so we're clear.
If the Twins lose this game, John, how are you feeling about the rest of the series? The Twins are going to have to win all three in order to leave the Chicago leave the South side with the division lead. And they still got Giolito and Keuchel coming up.
Well, not only would they would be leaving with the lead, but they would still have the same number in the loss column as well, because they're 2 games back in the loss column, right? So
Seth says, "I am here." Battery died.
Battery died.
Seth didn't die, but there was a death.
We're talking about his PC's battery, not Seth's battery, right?
yeah. Well, that could also be. I don't think Seth's battery ever dies. That man just goes 24 hours a day.
Yeah, if by now we would know. Yeah, if he was animatronic.
There he is.
There he goes. Oh, there he is.
Oh man,
He added himself back. I didn't even get to add him back. I was going to make him wait a little bit.
I'm impressed and appreciative that so many people have hung with us to watch the last hour of this game somehow. Wasn't it the 8th inning when we started? How have we been on for a full hour?
I think it was the 7th inning when we started.
This is incredible. This game is just a 3-1 game, and it's like 4 hours long.
Yeah.
No surprise.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what's going on because they run to
a ball game.
What's that?
Did Jake Cave make the last out or what?
Jake Cave struck out. Game is over. Twins lose 3-1.
Struck out looking.
Okay, so I was just going to post when my battery died that Jake Cave has a OPS of 700 or less against every team the Twins have played this year, except for the White Sox. Coming into the game, he was hitting 368 with an 1189 OPS and 2 of his 2 home runs. But that doesn't matter at this point. It would have sounded
2 of his 2.
We appreciate you selling the hope.
Yeah.
He took a terrible swing for strike 2 and watched strike 3 go past him. So, all right, wrap it up. Tends to give you your last 25 seconds, your takeaways here, and then let's wrap it up.
I'll say tough game. I'm glad Barrios looked good. Twins were going in with a substandard lineup. Hopefully Sano's back tomorrow, and I think they'll bounce back tomorrow. I expect a victory.
Seth?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it before. They lose a game that they probably should have won, had many chances, and you kind of get down, and I'm one that gets down all the time. But with Giolito and Keuchel coming up, who knows? They'll probably win the next 3 and end up tied at the division with 8 games to go. So, unfortunately, and we've talked about this before, with 8 teams making the playoffs, there's really no drama here. It's more just about bragging rights for that pennant race. But hopefully there's a good game tomorrow, and we'll do this again tomorrow night. And hopefully it'll start when the game finishes rather than when,
Yeah.
I guarantee the attendees, we were as frustrated as you guys were watching that game. I'm going to take a little solace in the fact that they were basically playing with half of their lineup instead of it. It was somewhat encouraging to see Barrios have a decent outing, maybe not one of those outings that's going to pump me up to see him in the postseason, but at least something that he could do. And like Nick said, this is a hell of a good lineup to be facing and mostly shutting down for 5 innings. So
one thing I'll add, John.
Yep.
Odorizzi, it's going to be Dobnak tomorrow in a bounce back spot. Odorizzi, I'm pretty sure is going to be starting on Wednesday. Is that what you're hearing as well? I think he'll be activated for that start. And then Rich Hill is going on Friday against the Cubs. These guys are competing for, the 4th starter job in the postseason, basically. And this is their last chance to show something against playoff caliber competition. So I think these next 3 days are going to be pretty big for the rotation plans.
And it looks like we'll be facing some tomorrow, not as much, but Wednesday we'll be facing Giolito, it looks like. And then Thursday, the rumor has it that they'll be bringing back Keuchel off of the IL to be able to start that Thursday game. So the Twins have their hands full if they want to try and.
Then they get Yu Darvish and a guy coming off a no-hitter over the weekend for the Cubs. So, they didn't hit tonight against basically their easiest assignment of the week. So we'll see how it goes here the rest of the week.
I think we should just assign Matthew Trueblood, since he's such a huge Cubs fan, to do every game of the post-game pint for the Cubs.
I love that idea. Matthew, you know how to sign up. Go get your name out there.
I was on with him on Sunday, and he knew everything about Alec, whatever that guy's name is that threw the no-hitter, and I was like, holy, the big story. But now I hope the Twins beat him and, score like 36 runs off of him in 2
You're
thirds.
gonna. I think he went to bed though already, Seth, and I'm going to encourage everybody else to do so. If you want to watch this, you can find it on our YouTube channel. You can find it on our Facebook channel. You can find it at postgamepint.com. If you want to join us for our next one, go to postgamepint.com. That'll give you a link to us on YouTube. You can also subscribe to our YouTube. You'll get notified for it. You can subscribe to our Facebook. You'll get notified for it. You can follow us on Twins Daily on Twitter. You'll be notified about it. My guess is we're going to have a conversation after this sometime tomorrow, guys, but whether or not we continue to start these after the game or we start during the game, because this was actually kind of a lot of fun to watch the end of this game. So
it made it a lot more enjoyable than it would have been otherwise. That's for sure.
All right.
So thanks for everyone for joining. Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.